Here's the thing about money. The biggest moves don't happen on CNBC. They don't happen on Twitter. And they sure as hell don't happen with fireworks. They happen quietly, behind court orders, behind locked doors, behind phrases like asset custody and pending disposition. And every once in a while, that silence changes everything. What if Bitcoin didn't start rising because people suddenly believed again? What if it started rising because a massive chunk of supply just stopped existing? What if 600,000 Bitcoin were pulled off the table, and the country that benefited most didn't say a word? This isn't about hype. This isn't about charts. This is about absence. A simple idea. No central bank, no money printer, no one pulling strings behind the curtain. Just code, just math, just 21 million coins. Hard cap, end of story. And for a while, people thought that meant Bitcoin couldn't be controlled. But here's the part nobody likes to talk about. Bitcoin doesn't need to be controlled to be influenced. It just needs to be taken out of play. A Bitcoin that never moves isn't helping anyone buy or sell. From the market's point of view, a lost coin and a frozen coin might as well be the same thing. They're both gone. Over the years, Bitcoin showed up in some ugly places. Hacks, scams, dark markets, sanctions cases, financial crimes. And every time that happened, law enforcement stepped in. Wallets got seized, private keys got taken, assets got locked up. The US, more than almost any other country, ended up holding a massive amount of Bitcoin. Not because it believed in Bitcoin early, not because it mined it, but because it enforced the law. And here's the key detail. Seized Bitcoin doesn't have to be sold. There's no rule that says, dump it on the market. It can just sit there. Around this point, the story gets uncomfortable, because this is where theory turns into incentive. There's a claim
As we can see from the latest trends, the integration of blockchain technology is set to revolutionize our financial strategy.
That roughly 600,000 Bitcoin, allegedly tied in some narratives to Venezuela, effectively became inaccessible, frozen, not auctioned off, not dumped on the market, not moved in any way that everyday traders could see, just locked. Whether that exact number is right or not almost doesn't matter, because the mechanism is what changes everything. 600,000 Bitcoin is close to 3% of total supply. And in Bitcoin terms, that's not small. That's not background noise. That's gravity. And gravity doesn't need permission to work. Most people assume that if a government gets its hands on Bitcoin, it would sell it, cash it out. But selling creates problems. Selling tanks price. Selling triggers backlash. Selling puts politicians on camera explaining why they nuked an asset people care about. Freezing doesn't do any of that. Freezing is quiet. Freezing doesn't scare markets. Nothing happens on the surface. But underneath, something very real changes. Supply gets tighter. And in a system with a hard cap, tighter supply only points one way. Prices don't explode overnight. They grind higher, slowly, relentlessly. No hype required. That's a supply shock, just playing out in slow motion. If this feels familiar, it should, because history has already run this playbook. Gold used to be money. Then gold was seized. Then gold was repriced. The people who controlled the reserves came out ahead, and everyone else adjusted after the fact. Bitcoin isn't officially money today, but it behaves like reserve collateral, digital gold. And when a government holds Bitcoin without selling it, that's not rejection. That's validation, just without a press release. It's a signal sent through action instead of words. Now stack everything together. Halvings keep cutting new supply. ETFs lock up coins for years at a time. Institutions hoard. Retail investors hold tighter because they've learned the hard way what happens when you sell too early. And on top of all that, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin never come back to the market at all. This isn't a pump. This isn't hype. This is pressure. Prices don't spike, they climb. Because eventually, there's nothing left to buy. And that's the strongest bull market there is. The quiet one that doesn't need excitement to work. So who actually benefits from that setup? Not day traders chasing green candles, not people trying to time
As we can see from the
tops
latest
and
trends,
bottoms.
the integration of blockchain
winners are the
technology is
ones
set to
who don't
revolutionize
need
our
liquidity.
financial strategy.
The ones who can wait, the ones who don't panic when the market goes sideways. Bitcoin was supposed to take power away from governments, but success attracts power, and power adapts fast. It doesn't fight the system, it learns how to use it. Maybe the Venezuela story is wrong, maybe the number isn't exact, maybe the narrative is rough around the edges, but the lesson doesn't go away. Bitcoin rewards patience, and it rewards silence. When supply disappears quietly, price becomes inevitable. The real question isn't whether Bitcoin goes up. The real question is, who benefits most from Bitcoin going up slowly, steadily, without drawing attention? So think about that. If governments freeze Bitcoin instead of selling it, is that bullish? Or is that the moment Bitcoin stops being untouchable? Because if silence is the strategy, then someone is shaping the future while everyone else is watching the price. And that's the part worth paying attention to.